question, you can ask it.
I believe it's your turn, brother.
I wanted to ask you, okay, this is a good question, I think. When we was discussing this earlier, when an Israelite man decides that he wants to get married, now say he's talking, well, actually trying to bring a woman into our culture and our faith, and she wasn't there, and she has children, and they were raised a certain way before the Hebrew man, started talking to the woman, and this being so she has children, the father may want his children to be raised a certain way, as far as Christianity or case may be, and you may want to bring this family into our heritage. How do you go about doing that? Because you have to still deal with, if the father, that he may be a Christian and he wants his kids to stay in Christianity.
You ready, Jan? Okay. Those are his children.
Right.
And however he wants his children to be raised is how his children are to be raised.
Okay.
You have no control over that. But if he's not being a man and he's separated from that woman, he didn't take his children with him, then you have all control over that.
Okay.
You understand? A real man who separates from this woman is going to take his children.
Correct.
So he gets to determine how his children are going to be raised.
Okay.
He has that right.
Okay.
That's the part about being a man. But then you got a lot of males who, they get mad at the mother, unhappy with the mother, separate from the mother, but leave all them little children behind. That's not a man.
Okay.
That's not what men do. Men take their children. Their children are supposed to be with them. Now, I'm not talking about a man who leaves the woman and say, well, you raise the kids, and then come back later and say, all right, I'm ready for my children. That might be a problem. But I'm talking about the man that's really in his ways find his wife unclean and puts her out of his home. You hear what I said, right? Puts her out of his home according to law. Put her out of his, not he sleeping in her room,
Correct.
her bed, her house,
Okay.
because he ain't got a plan. I ain't talking about no male.
Okay.
I'm talking about a man. But when he puts her out, those children come to him. They belong with him. And he is to raise them, especially if his little boy's involved. But there have been situations where the man's lifestyle may not have been able to been done that way. So what he does is, even though he separates from that woman, he'll let her keep the house to have a place to take care of the children, but yet he's still governing over it. He just can't be with her. You follow me?
Okay.
That's a possibility. But any man that's separated and another man comes into that woman's life and into those children's lives, then that man now has dominance and authority over that situation. That's why if a man breaks up with his woman, he's to take those children with him.
So
But-
that problem won't.
Yeah, so it won't happen no more. And then when it's time for you to beat the kids, he can't come back to you. And yo, man, why you put your hands on my children? Yo, if they was with you, you wouldn't even have to question that.
Right.
They will be with you.
Okay.
There would be no reason for me to do your job that you couldn't do because you wasn't here.
Okay.
You understand?
Can I kind of elaborate? I mean,
She want to elaborate.
I don't want to elaborate.
Shamora, you hear that?
I hear.
I don't want to elaborate, but I guess just from, I want to speak like from experience of being a woman who came into this walk of life with children that were already of a certain age, who had already been exposed to the former life that they were, that they were raised up in. Even though.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you're not a virgin?
Anyway, Shabbat jokes, everybody.
I thought you was a virgin when I took you.
So.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
When I came into this way of life, like 11 years ago, with my now older children, but they were 10, 6, and 10, 6, and 4, 6 and 8 or something. Anyway, because I had my children, they were not with their father. Their father was not, basically I was the sole guardian. So when I came into this way of life, I taught my children that, you know, whatever I do, if I bring them into something, I've brought them into it because I've researched it, I've studied it to an extent where I feel is comfortable. And that I've always taught my children, you know, that as their mother, I'm not going to lead them, you know, into something that is wrong. But going into what you said about a father, you know, when you marry a man and he becomes that father figure, the issue can come up later, like you were saying about the father coming back and saying, you know, I don't want my children to learn this. But I think a lot of times the father really only comes back and does that if the mother also is weak and not strong in who she is. Because a lot of times some men leave their children with the mother because their mother is stronger as a person to take care of the children, to raise the children. They don't feel like as a man they're, and it might just not just be financially, but spiritually, they might not feel that they are capable of giving their children, you know, a balanced life. So they leave, you know, the child with the mother who they may feel is stronger or comes from a stronger home base. I mean, that's just my opinion, based on
you're entitled to your
my
opinion.
experiences.
As a woman's point of view,
Exactly.
from a woman's point of view, that's fine.
Right.
From a woman's point of view.
So, I mean, so sometimes it's not even just about, you know, that man coming in and teaching those children. Sometimes the woman helps him because she's already, you know, trained her children or taught her children that, you know, what she's experiencing, what she does is because she has taken her time to also learn it before she brought her children into it.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I just feel, in my understanding and the understanding that I get from Scripture, what was that man's name who had all, Zelophehad?
Mm-hmm.
He had all them daughters.
Okay.
What was the mother? See, it was a reason why he had all them girls.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his responsibility and under his care. Anything could have happened, Scripture doesn't say.
Right.
But there's also a possibility that the mother was defiled and he divorced her
Okay.
and took them children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Oh, I agree with the traditionally that children should go with their father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditionally, not
Tradition.
law.
Right.
There's a difference.
Okay.
The Creator did not say in the law, this is what it must be.
Right.
But we have through examples that this is how it is.
Okay.
The Father does show us through Scripture that everything is under that man's jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
Right.
is under his rulership and his leadership.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
my brother. Well, whose turn is it now?
Well, the brother asked another question.
Which brother?
Well, he has the brother that
The only brother that's asking questions
Yes.
today? Okay.
he has about a few questions. So I was gonna ask him to inbox you a lot of his questions.
Bring him up.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to talk about him later, you can, but
Okay.
go ahead. Bring him
So
up.
the first question
Shabbat
is, what nations do the Messianic Israelites have wrong? They say Esau is the white man and Ishmael is Arabs. Who are the nations today? Then I guess this is the second part of his question is, they also say Moab and Ammon are Japanese and Chinese because they look retarded. So I guess that's a statement to his question.
Scriptures say, well, let me ask you this way. Jacob and Esau were brothers.
Okay.
We come out of Jake, somebody else come out of Esau. So are you telling me that the white man is your brother? Because if you're going to say that the European man is Esau, you're actually saying that the European man is your brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying.
Mm.
So now, if you want to say the European man is your brother, then yeah, the European man is Esau. If you want to say that, I don't subscribe to that. All right. Second part of the question:
Was
Japhet and Moab,
Ammon,
Ammon and who?
Moab,
And Moab, the two brothers.
are they Japanese and Chinese because they look?
I think the first question he asked was those people's chart or explanation of the nations correct?
Yeah, he said, "Who are the nations today?"
Yeah. I have no answer for that. And the reason why I have no answer is because the Creator says his people are a speckled bird.
Mm.
They look different ways. There has been history that showed Moab being the Chinese people, descendants of those people. For me, myself, I can't say who they are because I don't know. I haven't researched, I haven't studied, and the Father hasn't put the Spirit on me to give me the understanding to speak on whether those charts are 100% accurate or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't go off the charts. I don't use those charts. I do know that our people have been placed in various nations. I know that the original Chinese were black people.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the original inhabitants of America were Israelite black people. We lived here before the so-called Indians lived here. This was our land.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of history pertaining to our people. And when you go back to search out the origins or the beginnings of most of these nations, our people were the people that was there before any other people came in.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to China today, now I can only speak from documents that I've read or researched. I haven't been to China, so I can only speak about the information that's been produced. But if you go there, you'll see people dark just like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that they have been there forever. They have never left the land, and they didn't migrate, and they've been living there forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's been an ancient history about the samurai warrior, that the only way you can be a samurai warrior is if you have some black blood in you running through your veins. You have to be able to prove it.
I've heard.
Because we were the originators of all those things. And I say this because it shows you that our people are in all these houses.
Mm.
I watched a documentary this morning that refreshed my memory about the ancient Mayans and the Aztecs. They were us, our people of color. So we're in a lot of houses. And over the years, when the European man portrays these nations, he portrays those nations on a lighter skin, a lighter variation than us. Because if they show them as us, then that means they owe us money. Reparations is really in demand. And I'm going to be fighting for that too. I'm going to approach it in a different way. But I'm going to fight for our people to receive sovereignty
Mm-hmm.
on a different level than what it's been approached from before. I mean, we're really trying to build this nation.
Okay.
We're really trying to build this nation in the land of our captivity.
Okay.
We're doing it on some high levels. All right? So we're not playing and we're not just reading this book. We're really doing some serious work and putting the time in. That brother had another question?
No.
Did I answer his questions?
Yes.
Okay. You, brother?
I only got one more question, and that would be concerning the 12 tribes chart. Now, you have Israel that's saying all Israel is black, and then you have other Israelites saying that you have Native Americans and Hispanics that are also part of the 12. So I wanted to ask you, which way do you think? Do you believe that all 12 tribes are black, or do you believe that all 12 tribes are intermingled, whereas you have Native American and you have Hispanics also included into the 12 tribes?
all 12 tribes are black. Period. But you have to understand that Puerto Ricans, Latinos, they're all black.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand that. See, what you see is a light-skinned version of the original.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke about this a little earlier. If you go to India today, we have Indians who are the original Indians of India who are darker than me.
Mm.
Darker than me. But the ones you see are the ones who have been mingled and mixed. And the people who look like us, they're outcasts.
Mm.
They look down on. They treat bad. They live up in the mountains. But the ones you see that they put on the news and make the movies with are the lighter skinned versions with the straighter hair and those type of things. Our people are everywhere.
Mm.
It's just that they hide us. You go to Alaska, darker than us. You go to Puerto Rico, darker than us. You go to Cuba, darker than us.
Mm-hmm.
Darker than us. But yet, the ones that you see, they're light skinned. They're light brown. And they make you think that that's what the majority of their people look like, but it's not true. Go to Mexico. In Mexico right now, they're fighting wars over there because the darker skins are being oppressed and the lighter skins are being pushed to the forward as if Mexico was a light skin. Look at the almanac. The big head, the big black head that they found in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's thousands of years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does that look like any Mexican you see today?
No, sir.
So that should be your answer. That should tell you a little bit.
Mm.
We everywhere, man. And yet we say they should all be black or people of color, and it's true, they are. It's just like every other breed, they've been watered down. And what we see, or what traditionally is put forward, is the lighter skinned versions of our own blood. The original Europeans were black. The original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The brother says,
Same
or
brother?
ask, Kane,
My man.
does the seed of the man determine the child's nationality?
Absolutely. The seed of the man determines the child's nationality. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any more questions?
No, he doesn't have
You.
any. Oh, me? No, I haven't thought of any.
You ain't pulling that. All right.